Welcome to the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. This is Brandon, and I'm here hosting a very special episode. And this is the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast, where we are brought to you by the LMG Podcast Network. And today, I got my boy Jordan in the building.
Hello, I am Jordan.
Yes, sir. And we have a special guest filling in for Spenser. Roy is in the house. What's up, man?
Hello, I am Roy.
Sir. So as you see by the title of the episode, we're talking about maybe the series of the year. I'm not sure. Shogun,
Oh,
who
I
knows? Who
know.
knows?
I definitely got a question about that later.
Yeah. We'll definitely dive into that. But first, let's dig into the social media. Jordan, you want to take that over?
Yeah. And let me say before we start, David, he started the House of Dragon thing. And once again, he did not get the finish, just like last season.
Yeah, it's a consistent thing, but
Yeah.
Fallen Soldier.
Just want to get that out there. But yeah, speaking of social media, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, and we are all at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. That is where you can find us, talk to us, socialize with us, tap in with us. That's where you can find us at. So be sure and stop on by. And don't forget to rate and review us on whatever streaming service you use, whether that is Apple or Spotify. And honestly, those are the big two. I don't think anybody use anything different. But yeah, and then schedule updates. Of course, episodes drop on Mondays, but on Tuesdays, bi-weekly, we have LMG presents. I almost said Wrestling Worldwide Willis. That's crazy. LMG presents Marvel Multiverse RPG. That is a Marvel role-playing game where we are on an adventure right now in the good old state of New York, and we are dealing with some portals right now. So some little not time travel, little dimensional travel, we'll say. So be sure and check that out. And then, of course, on Wednesdays, we have wrestling with Worldwide Willis. That is Brandon's wrestling podcast. Brandon, what's going on in the world of wrestling right now?
Man, it's hot. It's hot. We cooking right now. We just got out of
Scorching.
SummerSlam. Yeah, we cooking. We just got out of SummerSlam. My boy Gunta is the world champ, and he about to face Randy Orton for the title in his home country. So it's gonna be crazy. Bash in Berlin coming up next.
Oh, so they traveling worldwide, huh?
Oh man, come on, man. WWE, we all over the world, baby.
That's impressive. And then bi-weekly as well, we have DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. That is Spenser's DC animated podcast where he reviews all the animated movies. Um, I don't know what's next on the list, but either way it goes, check it out and
Yeah.
be sure and stop by with lots of podcasts around here. But that's it.
Yes, sir. First, before we start, I want to introduce the folks. Roy, could you kind of give folks your rundown of your Game of Thrones, House of Dragon knowledge or fandom? Like, are you into it? Or are you kind of into it?
I am as into it as you can get without reading the books. Not
Yeah.
for the book's fault. I am just an avid non-reader,
Gotcha.
and these books are not short by any means.
No
So
way.
Right.
I don't even know if audiobook is a thing that I would even think about. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and with the shows as good as they are, I don't even know if I want to. I know a lot
Right.
of people always say books are better. And if that is the case, it's going to be hard to top because, right? I
Bro,
mean,
I'm telling you right now,
cooking.
I'm doing Fire and Blood book, bro. It is this is a struggle to get through. I didn't realize, bro, it's like a history book, the first one. I probably
Yeah.
should have started with the
Yeah,
Game of
he
Thrones
is
series.
a lengthy writer, from my understanding,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which works
Yes.
great when you're trying to, build a world for television and movies. Like they have so much to go off of and so much detail. But I
Right.
mean, I don't need 2 pages to describe the way the wind's blowing through the trees in the north.
No, for facts.
Like, I
That's
mean,
true. It's a good point. Yeah, the details is crazy, but no, I just wanted people to know Roy's pretty tapped in. So he watched it before I watched Game of Thrones, the original. You know what I mean?
it,
I was late to the universe.
I was late as well. I think I started season 7 may have been my first season I watched live. I kind of watched everything up until then. I was on this weird, I don't want to watch anything everyone else was watching, so I just didn't watch it when it came out. I had roommates at
Yeah.
the time that were watching it every week.
Hmm.
I didn't. I don't know why. And then I started watching it, and then I got pissed at them for letting me sleep on it for so long. So
That's how I feel
Facts.
too. That in the office is like I slept on it. I kept hearing people talk about it. I was like, bro, it ain't that good, bro. Chill. Then I
Yeah,
watched
Man,
it. I was like, oh, I wish I was on it.
man.
why did you
Like,
push me harder?
Yeah.
yeah, like David, we talked about him. Like, I literally was watching it, and every night, like, I would watch it and I text him, and I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking, man, I would have loved to get some tweets off while this is airing week by week. I would have loved to, throw a couple memes together. Like, it would have been hilarious and see what everybody's talking about. But I was years behind. So, but yeah, all right, let's go ahead and get started. As folks, you may know if you've listened to our podcast before, we reviewed House of Dragon the first two episodes. So if you haven't been able to listen to that, go ahead and check out our feed. Um, reviewed the first two. David was with us, and we got to lock in on those. So this review, we will start from episode 3, and we'll go to episode 8.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and Jordan, you want to do the spoiler?
Excuse me, gentlemen, but there is a strange phenomenon happening. I think it's a spoiler. Proceed with caution.
Nice. All right. Uh, all right. We're gonna start with episode 3. We first see that the twins were obviously killed in battle by fighting each other. One trying to defend Rainier. Rhaenys suggests the war may get violent, as both sides have kind of lost a lot of collateral damage in this, and people are to this point kind of forgot why the war started. The Brackens and the Blackwoods have begun a war already, so that's kind of like the first kickoff of the war. Rhaenyra sends Rhaena to the Vale to take care for safety and to take care of her kids, basically be a mom that she can't be. Daemon takes Harrenhal, but it's abandoned. He's thinking he's walking into some big battle that he can, hype his name up with, but it's abandoned. Sir Simon's sitting there kind of waiting for him and was prepared for him to come. Cole sets out with his army, and he got the blessing from the council. And Aegon, of course, wants to go to kind of make a name for himself as well. Aemon teases Aemon teases Aegon teases Aemon for pillow talking with the lady in the night. That was kind of struggle. We got to see Aemon naked, which unfortunately we got to see that. Then we got Rhaenyra visits King's Landing and has a private conversation with Alicent, and they kind of have a deep conversation to kind of understand that hey, there was a big communication, but Alicent unfortunately thinks it's just gone way too far at this point. So there's really no recovering from it. So that is episode 3 in the Just. What did we think about that one? That was coming off the tail of a lot of action in episode 2. So what did you think about episode 3?
I would say for me, like I still enjoyed episode 3, and it's kind of funny that you talked about the end how basically Rhaenyra pulled up on Alicent like, yo, like this is gonna be a big battle. Like it's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Right.
It's like you don't want this problem, but also this was the start of Damon's trouble over in
Yeah.
Harrenhal.
Right. Right. No, that's
But
true.
I really enjoyed this episode, and it's funny. Like I just told you guys, like I was reading a book, and so I got to find out like why Harrenhal is the way it is. Like Aegon the
Yeah.
Conqueror kept literally burning it up,
Yeah.
so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool to finally see.
Yeah. Me and Roy talk about that a lot. Like just like the dragon, Aegon, and how he killed, like how he basically melted that castle
Yeah,
from the sky. So that was really dope. But no, I agree. Like the episode was really really good. Like didn't have a ton of stuff going like as far as action, but this one felt like every word kind of mattered, and that because that the Alicent Rhaenyra in King's Landing conversation isn't in the books apparently. So like that gave, and it was a much needed conversation because it feels like anytime there's miscommunication that causes this big issue, for some reason in these shows, these people, it never gets talked about for real. Like it never like, hey, like you took this wrong, and then the person never gets to realize. But at this one, I felt like was very logical. Like Alicent, I mean, she ain't gonna be like, you know what, I was wrong. Let me just go fix this. Like she's
right.
definitely, I mean, she's prideful. She still wants her son on the throne. So I thought it was real realistic stuff going on. But Roy, what'd you think?
I thought it was definitely kind of a lull of an episode. I mean, you kind of need that after, the events of episode 2. It
Mm-hmm.
started out sweet. I mean, just the panning up from, you just see the two that we just saw
Yeah,
in the episode before, and like you get the horse in the water, and then you see all the bodies, and you see the actual mill on fire. Like
yeah,
it was a crazy start to it, and I feel like it was a very Game of Thrones esque, early Game of Thrones esque episode where
yeah.
there's a lot of place putting, like not a whole lot of action, um, kind of thrown in there, a lot of setting up for what's to come.
Hmm.
So it was a little slower, but still a lot of needed parts and a lot of needed pieces getting put up. So it was very good. A lot of information I think those get on there, and seeing the decrepitness of Harrenhal was crazy to see. 200 years later, Harrenhal's the exact same way. So it's like, damn, they
Man,
they ain't
Yeah, that's
never
tough.
set this up.
bro, I was watching Game of Thrones. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones, and I'm seeing like Tywin and the Lannisters taking over Harrenhal, and like Tywin having like meetings with his council in this broken down castle, and Arya's walking around there trying to survive, talking to the faceless man. I'm like, dang, this looks exactly like what I
Same.
mean, the
Dang,
show. Like,
I want to rewatch it now. Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, like I was just thinking, like, damn, these are the halls that like Tywin walked through. These are the halls that all these big time Game of Thrones characters walk through. So no, you're right. Like that was Harrenhal like was really cool, and I thought it brought a really cool aspect to the show as far as like the magical
Yeah, bro, because
part of it.
it's real creepy off in there. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
bro, Damon
right off
don't.
the rip.
Yeah, at this
Like,
point, like Damon don't even know what he even about to go through.
well, because
yeah,
they
man.
even kind of tricked us when like he lands, and everyone's kind of like, oh, dragon, dragon. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, this is an occupied
yeah,
castle, and he
right.
gets in there. I mean, he's walking around. We get a good like 2-3 minutes
Yeah,
of him
Yeah,
just like
bro.
turning corners, and there's nobody.
Yeah.
And he
They even
finally
tricked him
enters.
when he was turning
Yeah,
corners.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a setup. Like I thought it was gonna be a bunch of people in the room about to take him, but
Yeah.
no, it's
yeah.
like
He
nah, he's
opens
just
the
in there
door, and
cheating, trilling.
there's 8 people that are either under the age of 15 or over the age of 60, all looking at him
Right.
like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Sir Simon. He
Yeah.
was really good.
This is
Uh,
also when we see this is the first time we see what's called his brother, Alexander's brother, and like they go out in the woods and everything,
Oh,
and they almost
Glenn.
get yeah, they almost get killed by a dragon.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I Bayla almost she pulled up on it. She probably should have let it fly.
I
Uh
I don't understand why you
should have
wouldn't
emptied the
torch.
clip.
I don't know, yeah,
Yeah,
why you wouldn't torch the woods?
Yeah.
yeah.
But I was
Or
like,
at least like
maybe,
as she's swooping down, just
Right.
like shoot some fire down. Like, maybe
Cars.
maybe
yeah,
hey, burn
Yeah.
some hair real quick and a little cut.
Yeah.
But now
Whoever you get, I mean, at this point they killed, what I mean, they've shed blood already. So it's not like she got
yeah.
pulled off or
right,
anything. Um, but no, episode 3 was very good. We kind of got to see the tension between Cole. We got to see the tension between Cole and Allison building a little bit.
oh, dude,
Um,
I'm ready for Cole to die. That dude is a boy. I'm ready for him to die.
Man.
he's yeah, I mean, yeah, we get it. Like I do like the way his character arc is going, and we'll talk about that. But it's kind of changing a little bit.
Yeah.
But
As of this moment, still a little bitch.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm saying
yeah,
yeah. In my mind, I'm thinking at this moment, I'm like, this dude is a snake, boy.
I mean,
right.
he wanted to run away with Rhaenyra in season 1, and wanted to like them run away and live this whole new perfect life because he had a crush on her, and like they slept together, and like he was willing to kill himself. And
Hmm.
Allison was willing to just let everything burn because of Rhaenyra just committed this ultimate sin of like just not being loyal to her duties. And then
Right.
episode 3 just doing the dirty.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, we know what's going on in that time frame. There's not a whole lot of bass, not a lot of hygiene going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
And my man
It was in
is
there.
oh
deep. And I'm like, there ain't no way. Ain't no
Yeah.
way back in that time that was happening.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
wait,
But
is this the episode where he opened up like she was the episode, whatever episode where he was on his knees and was doing
Yeah.
his
I don't
thing to
remember if
her?
that
Well,
was that
that-
one or
That may have been episode 1.
oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I was about to
But
say
no, I mean
Yeah.
that was
But
gross.
at this
that
point,
was
it's like
nuts.
they've already,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been doing all this stuff. And I was like, weren't you ready to kill yourself a couple
Yeah.
episodes ago? Because this was
It's not
happening,
that
and you're
short of a
like,
time frame either.
I know.
Yeah. You're right. It's facts. All right, episode 4. Rhaenyra, she visited Alicent and King's Landing. She returns to Dragonstone. She basically knows since Alicent isn't going to correct her mistake that she knows it's on. Like it's green light now. We can prepare for actual war, and decided to meet the Greens for battle because she knows their armies out there. Um, then we have Rhaenys attacks Cold army, but is met by Aegon and Sunfire. She's probably a little surprised. She thought it was just going to be let me go through, burn this army up real quick, take back this small little meaningless castle, keep it moving. But of course, Cole and Aemon have a plan, and Aemon shows up with Vhagar, and he takes advantage of an opportunity and sees that Aegon is there. He probably could have waited, but he's like, you know what? This is kind of an opportune time to do what I've always kind of wanted to do as far as sitting on the throne. And he burns his brother in Sunfire and causes them to crash land. And then Rhaenys kind of gets away, but being a real OG she is, her and Meleys turn back, and they know they gotta end it. She gotta go out like a real soldier.
Rest in peace to a real one.
Yeah, so a real one. She came back.
Two real ones.
Yeah, fought him straight up, Vhagar straight up, and took an L. But you know what I mean?
Hey, that was a lowercase L.
Yeah, exactly. She had to work.
Her legacy lives on.
Yeah, Vhagar had to work for that meal, and unfortunately, Rhaenys and Meleys are unfortunately gone. We also return back to Harrenhal where Daemon meets Alice Rivers and kind of gets a full just and kind of a good feel for the first beginnings of these like dreams and these visions. And Alice Rivers is kind of creepy, and she kind of tells him like, "This is where you're gonna die." You know what I mean? So yeah, that was pretty much the gist of episode 4. Outstanding episode, honestly.
Yeah, I give it to you. This is probably top 3 of this season. Top 3 episodes. I would say.
Yeah.
Oh,
this might be.
This was the best episode of the season for sure.
Yeah, this might be one.
This honestly maybe should have been like the penultimate, if not the season finale of it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be so early. I mean, I get doing it so early on. I guess it kind of gave me false expectations of where the season was going. Due to it being so early, I was like, okay, we might actually get something. I knew from the middle of season 1 when they said they're doing season 3 for sure. I knew season 2 wasn't going to be like a whole lot of war, but I thought, okay, we might start it. Like we might get some big names dying,
right?
And then only really to get one and a half is kind of crazy. But in this episode, like this was, I mean, best episode of the season by far. Maybe top 3 of the early, existence of the show so far.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the things I really enjoy is like when any of the Targaryens, they're like talking to each other and they start to get like a little heated. Yeah, they start talking in High Valyrian. Like be a whole bunch of people around them. They're like, you know what, I'm about to just go in. So then they start speaking High Valyrian where nobody else can understand them. Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, because Aemon did it to Aegon.
Yeah,
because he was like, I don't want to embarrass you in front of all these people, but you come out here, like this is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And obviously, Aegon didn't study up, wasn't in his books when he was a kid.
Knew nothing.
Yeah, knew nothing. I love this episode because we kind of finally see dragon warfare, and that's kind of why I kind of feel, I don't want to say sympathy, but like I can see through Cole's eyes, Christian Cole's, and be like, okay, I thought this was a war on the ground. I thought this was a war of swords and manpower, but he's watching dudes just get melted in their armor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's probably like, oh, this really don't matter. Yeah, like we really don't matter. It's basically whichever dragon wins. But our people, like our boots on the ground, it really doesn't matter. We're just something for these dragons to step on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The start of it.
Yeah, like just a body. So it's just like I can kind of understand. I like the way his arc kind of starts from this point on, in the point of like not depression, but like coming to realization, like, yeah, this is kind of way bigger than just some throne. Like this is
this is a different war.
Yeah, when you start, it's just like if a war started and somebody like let off a nuke, you're in a different realm now. You know what I mean? you're in a totally different type of war that no one's seen before. So yeah, and I love the dragon battle, just the way it looked, all that, man. This
Oh,
episode was top tier.
They do excellent with the CGI on the dragons. Like
Yeah,
they
facts.
look like they're really there.
Yep.
This is also that same episode where we see Corliss's son. I can't think of his name, but the bald one.
Is it Aaron? I think
Uh,
because the other one's Adam. I think
yeah,
it's
Double D Adam is
yeah.
okay.
I think it's Aaron. I may be wrong on that, but I think it's Aaron.
Either way, though, that Rhaenys, sees him, he's like, "Your mother must have been beautiful."
Yeah,
Like at that
yeah, yeah.
time, because like when I first saw him, he was like, he rescued him and everything. I thought they were like brothers at first. Like I
Gotcha.
just assumed they were brothers, like Corliss and the dude. And then so he
Alan.
was
His
like,
name's Alan.
okay.
Alan, that's right.
So yeah, I
Okay.
thought they were brothers at first because I remember his other brother died in season one, got killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
And so I thought this was
lawlessly.
like, yeah, I thought this was like another one. And then I realized like, oh no, this is his one of his sons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
First of all, Jordan, we have to div you away for just a sec. Do you think it was lawful for that man to get murdered the way he did in
No,
season one?
no, that was wild.
Okay.
No.
My man Roy defended it, and I was like, hold on,
Look,
brother.
I
Why did
didn't
you defend
fully
that, bro?
defend it. I said we're getting into this. All right. I think he was wrongfully killed. However, if he would have just kind of sat there and realized what was happening and the severity of it, and he would have just, maybe kind of been quiet for a bit, I think everything would have been fine. His biggest issue is their house was going to be left to Jace, who, as we know, is not a Valerian, not a Targaryen.
Hmm.
But at this point, he was going to be married to Bela, which is uh,
The daughter.
Corliss's granddaughter,
Yeah.
Right.
who is a Valerian.
Yeah.
So the blood would have still been in his family because they would have had kids as the heir to Driftmark, and so it would have just been a slight pause.
Slight
Gotcha.
That part
pause.
I kind of get, but the issue that I had is this man knew exactly what he was doing, and if he would have just, whenever they said hold your tongue, would have just not said anything, he would have had his head cut off.
So
And
you
so
think it was just bad placement for him to say something?
it was a horrible spot for him to say it.
Sometimes the emotions get over you. I
No,
feel
I
like
get it,
they
and
could.
I'd wish he wasn't there because I actually loved his character, but
I
you just got to read the room, and that's not the place to do it.
I don't know, man. My only struggle is, what I mean, the race component comes into it, unfortunately. But it's like,
That's fair.
bro, this man, Rhaenyra's lies is causing black people to be removed from Game of Thrones. That's essentially what's happening. And he's trying to prevent that, which I get. Like, and Roy's right, like, for the most part. Like, he probably should have been like, let me hold off. People get knocked off around here all the time. You know what I mean? People get killed. They eat the wrong thing, they can die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I probably should have played the long game, but I do understand a king telling you, no, that child right there is from Lenor and Rhaenyra. That white child with black hair is from Lenor and Rhaenyra,
Yes.
and you got to deal with it. I would have been like, nigga, what? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. So
See, this is
Yeah, because
why you know that conversation we have all the time. Like, if you would have been back in like the 1600s, I told you you would have been a
yeah.
gladiator. So you got knocked off because you would have believed that way. You would have lived long.
yep.
Hey man, eventually they would have been like, oh, well, you might have a point here. What?
Because
No, because you're an
had
embarrassing king. You're gonna embarrass the king, and he can't have that.
Maybe
had he have
so.
not been marrying Bela, I think I understand then why he would, cause such a big scene. Because be like, oh no, now that's entirely leaving my family. But they were already
Yeah.
promised, they're okay with it. I just bad timing, bad spot to do it, I think.
And to die because you think your brother's dead and your brother actually isn't dead, like that's
Yeah,
tough. The only
that's what
reason
I
he
thought.
stuck up for it that hard is because he thought his brother was dead. You know what I mean? So, but
Wait,
yeah,
how did y'all feel about the witch basically?
House
Like,
Rivers.
yes, I didn't
I
know who
thought
she
she was a
was.
ghost for the longest time. I was very upset that
I
she
saw I
wasn't a
saw that
ghost.
theory. I saw that theory on the
Yeah,
internet.
I like that they did that. I like that they did a couple pump fakes to where you thought like me and we talked about one time, like where she walks behind
The old
Damon.
dude.
Yeah, or yeah,
Simon,
Sir
yeah.
Simon, and just doesn't you don't see her anymore.
Well,
Like I
because he
like that
also
stuff.
gives her this like weird look, like kind of like, who you talking to, Damon? where
Right.
she was standing. Then she walks
That's
behind
true.
Simon, and
You're
then
true.
you don't see her come from the other side of him. So
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
some bad
oh damn,
editing right there.
she's dead.
I bet you somebody when everybody started talking about, oh, she's a ghost because they saw that scene. I bet you the creators like, ooh, that was some bad editing right there. We probably shouldn't have did
Or
that.
is she actually a ghost and just everyone can see her because it is hair and
Yeah.
all?
I
No
I mean,
one's
mean,
she is
seen
a.
her outside.
That's true.
honestly,
And
I
no
thought she
one's.
was. Oh, you said what, Brandon?
Well, actually, Sir Simon did address. He did say, Alice Rivers, offered her services, blah blah blah. So I was thinking Damon was the only one who talked to her, but apparently other people know
Yeah,
she existed.
off camera does it really happen?
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
thought she
true.
was one of
Her
those
ghost.
tree when the episode where we see her, I know we're kind of jumping in, but the episode where you see Damon like touch the tree, I honestly
Yeah,
thought in that moment she was going to go into the tree and be like one of those
The
like
children
those
of the
tree.
forest.
Yeah,
yeah, children of the worst. Yeah,
that's what I thought she was going to be at first.
gotcha. Yeah. Now, I mean, who knows with like we talked about with the tree, like the person who he saw, Rivers. So who knows, her relation and all that. Um, but no, episode 4 again. R.I.P. Rhaenys. I thought her and Corliss had the best marriage of everybody. At least the most realistic looking marriage of everyone. Corliss was
Most
still doing some.
genuine.
Yeah, most genuine. Like it looked like they actually loved each other. It wasn't just by arrangement. Um, but yeah, shout out to Rhaenys. I thought Meleese was probably the coolest looking dragon, one of the coolest looking dragons in the whole show. Um,
That's a good question. Maybe I want to ask that later. I
I
want to ask that later.
I gotta
yeah, yeah,
disagree with that.
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I disagree too. But
That's
I want to talk about that later though. Who
that's
had the
yeah.
best looking
that's the
dragon?
dragon from Shrek, is what Meleese is.
I agree.
Like
Chill out, man.
I
Chill out with the
agree.
I love
disrespect.
Shrek. I love Meleese. Meleese pieced up. What was Aegon's dragon?
Sunfire.
Sunfire. I think
Yeah,
Sunfire might be my favorite looking dragon. So it was
yeah,
rough that his chest just got ripped to shreds from
yeah.
Meleese.
Got him up out of
Yeah, so that was a
there.
rough one.
Yeah,
But yeah, Meleese is battle ready. She went to work.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she even
She's
gave
bro.
Vagar
Vagar.
some troubles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
like they said, like if she could have been fully healthy, or you know what I mean,
yeah.
she would at least gave him, way more trouble too. No,
The
you're right.
thing that I hated, I will say there was one thing that I hated on this episode was so Rook's Rest is a tiny, like they mentioned, it's a tiny castle.
Yeah.
How the hell does that big old raggedy bitch Vagar hide behind the castle and sneak
Oh
attack?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Because you could.
one, ain't no way you're that big and able to move that quick.
Yeah.
Two, how are you hidden?
Yeah, it was
Right.
like in a bunch of it was like in a bunch of
Because it
woods,
was
right? In the
It was,
what was
it was
forest.
under
right
the
behind the castle.
the castle's. I thought the castle was like on a cliff or something like that.
It may be.
Yeah, but he hid behind the cliff. But even still, like it was like that big old thing is just gonna sit still. Like it was barely getting
Yeah.
off the
And
ground in the forest.
well, my thing too, when did he even get there? Like
Yeah,
he came like a
exactly.
few days before, like
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
know we're gonna be the
and
battle here.
none of the soldiers was like, "Yo, yo,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
you over?"
She turned around, took them out, and it was
Like
like, all right, we're going back.
I would have been waving like, "Right here, yo."
Well, yeah, because it's not even like they just showed up and they hadn't had an interaction with Vagar yet. Like Vagar
Yeah,
had already been in the battle, so it's like must have had time to go land, hang out for a bit, drink, get some water, talk to coach, see what the game plan
right.
is. All right, break, execute it, and just goes up for the layup and just took her out.
Yeah, that was tough, man. The
That
head chop
was
off, that was crazy.
uh the look that Meleese was that gave her before
Oh,
the attack when they're like, "Hey, we got to turn around. We got to finish what we started." And she looked back. She said,
yeah,
You sure?
Yeah,
We got to do
yeah.
this." And I said, "That's a real one right there." And that right there is exactly. I mean, I already kind of knew, but that guaranteed. I'm like, they're both dying. At least
yeah,
one. I thought maybe Rhaenys would be able to kind of get out of it
right.
potentially, but I'm like, Meleese is dying. And
It
then
was the right call. It
yeah, and then the way it like just like the slow choke almost. I was like,
yeah, that was tough, man. Somebody was saying like you talk about with the look back. Somebody was like because you like when they turn back around, like Melis came down and like put her foot in the water, and then came back up. Somebody was like that was kind of her saying goodbye to like the sea snake and like saying
Mhm.
goodbye to pretty much everybody,
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was tough. And I mean, kind of at the end of the episode, I kind of left out of it, but we do find that Aemon sees Aegon. You know,
Oh
he
yeah.
yeah, like it's and Cole is like, oh, what you like? What you what you doing?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, like
the fact that Cole hasn't said he didn't say anything to anybody about what he
yeah,
saw is
I
crazy.
mean, you can't with
yeah.
Vagar.
I
Like
wouldn't either.
one, Aemon is deranged.
Yep.
He's highly skilled. He's moody, and he
Yep.
has the largest dragon. Like there's not a like
And I guess who
unless
would
you're the
believe
king,
you?
you can't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He
nobody.
just
I guess
Exactly.
burnt the
nobody
shit
would
out of the
believe
king.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody has your back there because you
But it
can't
is
even trust
wild.
Allison to have your back.
No, it's wild that he took the cat's paw dagger and is just like
Yeah.
flexing that thing, and they're like, "Isn't that Aegon's like prized
Right.
possession?" Oh
Right.
no, I just have it. He's fine. It's like,
Yeah.
ah,
It's like no, that's yeah. He picked it off like it was just a handy kitchen knife. I'm like, no, bro, that means more than you know.
So
You
in
know,
wait, last question for me. In this moment, did you think Eamon was dead or alive?
I knew. Well, I'm trying to
unfairly
talk.
knew he was
Yeah.
alive. Just
Yeah.
because I have like a slight idea of the rundown, and we also know because of Game of Thrones that
Right.
how the ending happens, but like so I kind of knew like this isn't the end of Aegon.
Exactly.
I thought
That's
it was gonna be the end.
for the only reason is because, like Roy said, we kind of had an unfair advantage. Joffrey literally explains how
Yeah.
Well,
Rainier dies.
what's crazy is I completely forgot about that, and I remember talking to David after this. He was like, "No, like we knew he was gonna live." I was like, "How'd you know that?" Then he's
Yeah.
like, "Game of Thrones." He's like, "That one part." I was like, "I completely forgot about that."
But it does
Yeah.
also say that it just says her brother. I don't remember if it specifically says her brother Aegon did XYZ. I could just says
Yeah.
her brother did this. So they could that's why I was kind of thinking like there's a chance that they could kind of spin it and have
Yeah.
maybe Aemon be the one to do it.
I saw the clip pretty recent. I feel he did say her brother. I don't think he said her name, but he did say Sunfire. So that's
Okay.
also what makes me
But
think maybe
that's
Sunfire's alive. I don't know.
they
Who
also
knows?
haven't given that. They just said because they even said I think this is in the next episode, so sorry for skipping ahead. But they
Yeah.
do say like, oh, we left couple hundred men and a dragon in Rook's Rest to like kind of
Right.
safeguard it. So it's like, and I mean, we kind of see at the end of the whole scene right there in the battle, like Sunfire's not dead. I mean, Sunfire's messed up, and like they
Right.
did apparently dragons explode on contact because Meleese did it and
Yeah.
Sunfire did it. So I don't know if that means that he is dead and is currently dying, or
Right.
maybe they're extremely durable and like he's just sitting there licking his wounds and he's kind of useless for a while, but still a dragon.
Yeah.
So I don't
I can see
know.
him
Again,
showing up when what we think is going to happen.
yeah, because
Um,
if you don't die on scene, it's hard to be like, oh, you're dead.
Yeah.
right.
Because sometimes you could die on scene, like Jon Snow, and come back. So I mean,
That's true.
everything,
That's
all
true.
possibilities are open.
That's facts. All right. Episode 5. Meleese. Meleese's head is carried through King's Landing. And some of the folks think it's a bad omen to do such a thing. Aemon takes over in Aegon's absence officially. Cole admits dragons are basically nukes, right? He kind of admits to Alicent that this war is totally different now that he's kind of saw his men burn. Um, then we see that Damon is still in Harrenhal, still struggling, still in Harrenhal. I'll just keep doing
Still,
that
Yeah.
hey,
Going
every
we'll
through
be
it.
saying
episode.
that for a while.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be saying that for a while. Aegon does awake, but he's struggling. Milk of the Poppy, they got that thing on standby.
Drip
And
feed.
then Team Black comes up with a potential plan to get more riders. They have a potential, formula that they think might work to get more dragon riders. Um, Solid episode. What'd you guys think of this one? Roy, you can go first.
Worst episode of the season, but still a
Okay.
good episode. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like this whole season potentially, we'll get there at the end,
Right.
potentially has the chance to be a great setup season.
Hmm.
Kind of the same thing that I had with like season or episode 3. Really kind of needed to set stuff up, especially after a massive event like we just witnessed.
Right. Yeah.
The pacing in Game of Thrones is really good about being like, hey, here's the big thing that happened. Okay, we're setting
Slow it
up.
down.
We're putting some
Yeah.
pieces in. Like, here's the effects of that. So I mean, that's kind of realistic in like war. Like, it's not we're not dropping nukes every day. Like, hey, we're gonna bomb you for a while. We're gonna amp up again, get everything ready, do it again. So I feel like it
Yeah.
was a little slower than I think it needed to be, but I still think it was very good. Minus uh, Damon still being in Harrenhal because this is taking too long.
Right. Right.
It's the same episode where Alicent get kicked. She get kicked out of the council.
I
I
think that's a
think
little
that's
later.
next. I think that
Okay.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's next episode.
We
Yeah.
start kind of seeing them talk over her though. Like they're not
Yeah,
fully
this is
kicking her out.
exactly.
It's not that scene where like she gets completely ignored, but they're kind of not listening to her like they were before.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is that scene where she does say, I was a queen while, you know, Viserys was down. I can, in his absence, I can take it over. And then that's the scene where they like focus in on her and like it's real intense because she's like basically losing it, like bubbling inside
Yeah.
because nobody's listening to her.
Gotcha. Okay. Either way though, I think doing like putting Maylee's head through the city,
Yeah,
that was savage. It looked disgusting too.
it did.
But
Yeah.
that was too much. It was like, how did you I feel like people look at, I mean they do, they literally is like dragons are gods. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
for you to do that, it's like I don't know how you thought that was a good idea.
right.
You think dragon meat's edible?
I
Gotta
wouldn't
be.
do it. No, no, it can't because
What?
if you think about it, the inside of their body is like almost gasoline.
What
Like
do you mean?
because they have all the you see when Melee's like bleeding and everything, all the dragons bleed, they bleed like black blood, right?
Yeah,
So I'm
They
thinking like
do. Yeah, they do also have like acidic like blood because remember
that's what I'm
when
saying. It's almost like gasoline.
Sunfire got cut up and like was just
It
bleeding on the men and they
people,
just started melting a little bit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like so that on the inside, it has to taste like gas.
But
Like
you're not telling me that when they had the head cut off and it's running through, like I looked at that and I was like, because at this time I feel like they already had the uh the
the blockage, the
the blockade
blockade.
going on. So
Yeah.
they're like, I'm like, you couldn't have like
oh yeah, bro,
Oh, if I
maybe
was in
chopped the
their
meat up,
situation, yes,
bro.
I would
I'm
but
eat. But
never.
I thought you were talking about now. I thought you were talking about now. No
No,
way.
if I was like in charge, I'm cutting up. If you're already going to cut the dragon up, like cut it up, give the meat out, and not tell them where it's from. Just be like, hey, this is from King Aegon.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at this point, they'll take anything. You
No, that's
notice we haven't
facts.
seen no stray dogs, no stray cats. We haven't seen the rat catcher's dog in a minute.
Hmm.
Well,
That's
no, I
true.
lied. I
Them
guess we do
boys,
see him
them
because
boys get ate up.
Yeah,
whenever
later on we do
Damon
randomly.
takes over, they're like, all right, cut the rat catchers down, and we see, oh, loyal
Yeah,
boy still holding out hope.
So wait,
yeah.
what do y'all think they did with the dragons? Did they think they put it underneath the dragon keep?
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if they ever addressed that. I
They
feel like they
didn't.
might in the books. Like there's got to be some sort of like ritual
Because
they
it's
do
like,
for like
what do you
past
do with that
dragons.
huge head? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure they put the skull
and I know
somewhere.
it stink.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
what doesn't
They
in
had
that
to.
time frame though?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, they
That's
might
probably
not
just a.
smell. Yeah,
That's
that's
gonna
just
be
another
rough.
smell.
That's deodorant
That's gonna
smell.
be
That's people breathed
rough.
it in.
So somebody's
Oh,
like, "Oh, new
fresh
smell."
scent. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. A new one. I like this.
um,
That boy
but
Aegon though. Aegon's body was cooked.
bro,
Crisp. Oh, they do such a good job with the props.
yeah,
And like
they really
just
do.
the
They,
makeup of it.
they
Because
lift
I
that
mean,
armor. Ugh,
oh,
you saw like the skin and stuff stretch. I'm
It's
man,
like
like, bro, got
squishy and
cooked.
stuff.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like you put cheese in a shredded cheese on nacho chips and put it in the microwave and like take it out. Like it was
Yeah.
bad.
oh man, you're right though. That's
It
what it
was,
was.
and the sounds they had for it, like man,
Bro, it sounded like a surgical, like he was in a surgeon's room, and the maester was like, "Hey, hand me the tweezers, or whatever."
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
And I was, bro,
In real
that's
life, he would have died because there's no way they have the medicine to keep him alive back then.
Hey, they got milk of the poppy. That does
Bro,
the poppy,
wonders.
man.
nah, he would have got infected. He would have died. Mm.
I mean, there's other ways of alcohol, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's not near as powerful as the stuff we got nowadays.
Yeah, just
Because he
splash some
got,
wine on
bro,
them.
that's like a fourth degree burn he probably got.
Oh yeah,
Man,
he's
there ain't a degree for that. Like that,
That
yeah
his skin's gone.
in
Well,
yeah.
because
armor.
In the
well,
armor,
not
yes.
even armor. He's in
Yeah,
Valerian steel armor, which is
yeah, facts.
harder to burn than anything else. And it
Yeah,
just, I mean, it didn't melt, but it started to melt his skin. Like it's crazy.
yeah, yeah. And that was
And
Aegon's armor
yeah,
too.
you want to talk about a smell? I bet that was horrid.
That
Oh,
smell like bacon though. I don't know.
cooking and everything, but yeah, um, yeah, that's tough, man. Really is.
And the
But
way
yes,
they just brought his body in a box, like just they didn't have any extra. Which
bro.
I get, they kind of don't want to cause attention to be like, hey, the king's in here, like he might be dead. I get not causing attention, but like, man, they hit like potholes, they hit rocks. There was like no extra care given. There's like,
No, yeah.
bring
I
him
thought,
around back.
yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they bring him Brown back. You know what I mean? A back way, but yeah, like you said, they put him in a little normal box, and it was like, hey, man, if you make it, you make it. You
Yeah.
know, that was tough.
And that's
Um,
when we see Allison look at
Oh yeah, look,
Damon,
our son.
then that's when he has the cat spot dagger. She sees it. So I think right then too,
She
she said
knows.
she has an
yes,
idea. She's like, I know what you did. She's like, I have no
yeah.
proof of it, but I know what you did.
Is this the episode where she talks to Cole about it, or is it next one?
Um.
Because remember, Cole was like sharpening his
Yeah, he's
sword.
Yeah.
cleaning his
Yeah. It's
sword.
this one. Yeah. It's this one.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that was when Cole was like, "They
He
fought
said, yeah.
valiantly." Yeah, I was like, "Bro, you should have." But I mean, I wouldn't trust Allison either. So I get it. She
I
could
mean,
easily turn on him.
he's also traumatized by what he's seen
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
because
Yeah,
Because he
he
just
gets
saw his
knocked
man get
out.
cooked.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
gets knocked out, and he's like, "Hey, stand up, we got a battle." And
yeah,
like
that's true.
Thanos snap dusted away as he touched him. And I was like, "Man, that's got to be rough."
Yeah, man. Like I said, that battlefield was great. They did a great job of because
Yeah.
there's like certain war movies that give you a great feel of what a war was. Now, brutal it is. That did a great, and Game of Thrones universe has always done that, giving you like oh, this is disgusting. Like this stuff is really bad. You okay. We can move along to episode 6. This is the episode where Eamon officially fires his mom from the council for being a woman, essentially. He said she can go back to domestic, in a more of a domestic role, which is kind of crazy to say your mom. Um, we Corliss, and I meant to mention this episode 5, but Corliss is still, really, really, weeping and mourning his wife. Um, and he's offered the job to be the hand. And actually becomes the hand, and he shows up in Dragonstone. Damon has now we're starting. Damon is still in Harrenhal for those, if in case you were wondering. But he's starting to have visions of Viserys, which honestly is some of my favorite visions that he's had, and he's starting to see things from Viserys' perspective as king. And it kind of wakes him up a little bit. They try to tame a dragon, and it doesn't go well.
Mm.
It becomes a barbecue, basically. And Rhaenyra, feeling sorry for the small folk of King's Landing, she door dashes some food over there and hooks them up. And Adam is chased down by sea smoke and is claimed, whether he likes it or not. So that is episode 6. What did you guys think of that one?
I would just say I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed, like you said, seeing Damon kind of go see things from Viserys's point of view.
Yeah,
It's like this is not things that he thought about before, and it's
yeah,
literally like what's the Ghost of Christmas Past? Like this is literally like him going
Hmm.
through it right now.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that too. I like that it was the same dialogue. It was just, like I like that Viserys was saying the same stuff he said in season 1 when he was questioning about like did he talk about the still baby's birth or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
We also
shout out Patty, man. I mean, he killed it season 1
yeah, he
and brought
did.
that same energy back with season 2 for the little stint he had.
Yeah,
And I mean, just I honestly think those might have been all new shots too. Like
yeah. From
the way he
yep,
delivered it was the exact same, but still different, and it was almost focused on directly to Damon because we're still getting Damon's perspective of it. But it was
right.
nice to be like, hey, heavy is the crown.
Yep.
And this is what it is. Like, you want the crown, you want to be king, you want the good parts. But hey, here's the real shit. Like, it ain't all great. Especially now, like, I mean, Viserys is the king of peace because ain't nothing happened, but now peace is done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
You
Peace.
saw what
Viserys
happened.
said he didn't
Yeah.
even want it. He's like, I didn't want to be king.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And apparently, like, because this is the episode where, like, yeah, he sees them on the crown, but then is this the episode where he later sees them on the bed? Viserys is sitting there holding the
I
crown.
think so. When he's getting
Yeah.
full like decrepit,
Yeah.
decrepit
Yeah.
mode.
Decrepit mode. And I guess like Patty was like told the directors, like, I don't want to be, I want to be in the decrepit mode. I don't want to
Yeah.
be like healthy Viserys. And because that way you can see like the toll that the crown can have on you.
Yeah. Like
And
the
yeah,
full
man.
effect.
Yeah, and like seeing the scene where like Viserys is really like crying about his wife and seeing that like Damon was like, "Hey, I got you. I'm here." And like that was really cool just to see like Damon be like, "Damn, like I was kind of an asshole as far as being a brother
Yeah,
to this dude. Like I caused him a lot more stress than he needed." So yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the episode.
yeah. This one had a lot of stuff happen in it. I mean, you mentioned the sea smoke thing. Oh, first of
Yeah.
all, did y'all think that was a good plan? Like Jace being like, what if we find people who have our bloodline? What did y'all think about that plan? Did y'all think it was a good idea?
I
I knew
mean,
knew for a fact it wasn't gonna work.
it was a solid thought. It was a
Yeah.
solid thought, but yeah, it was kind of I don't know, man. You're playing with like you're literally playing with fire. Like
Yeah.
this person might die, so it's kind of like you're signing people up for deaths because you know they're desperate for the most part.
Yeah.
I did have a feeling because I mean at this moment or at this point we've had a few episodes with Hugh and all. So I was like, okay, they're obviously important in some way. And again, my limited knowledge outside of the show, I did know that who claims Vermithor. So I
Yeah,
was like,
I would say I
okay,
didn't
like
know that.
yeah.
obviously I've accidentally found out because I was just looking up like I was like, well, how big are the three dragons in Game of Thrones compared to the dragons we're looking at now? And the video I watched on YouTube when it's like who also wrote it, and I was like, oh, well, this isn't what I wanted, so I spoiled it for myself. But
Yeah, I did the same thing with Adam and Sea
yeah,
Smoke.
and I was
Yeah,
like, dang.
yeah,
So I kind of had a feeling. I thought there'd be a little more, like you needed to have a little thicker blood, but apparently, like it when time's needed, like as long as you got that 1%.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna be
true.
honest. This episode and like the one episode where they get all the small folk to see who can ride it, I would be like, it depends on what my situation was. Now, if we poor, we ain't
Mm.
got no money, like I'll probably do it. But if I got a cool little chicken farmer, if I got a cool little job, I ain't doing it. Like I'm good.
I don't know, bro. You know me. This is time to put some legacy on my name. Hey,
Yeah. Hey, that's the
Nah, my legacy. He was the greatest chicken hatcher that we had.
that's what I'm saying. Back then, legacy was everything. Like if you had a
especially
good
your small
legacy,
folk. Yeah.
yeah. If you can, if my son who's back at the farm can be like, my dad rode Vermithor, he good for the rest of his life.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
that 5% chance though. I'm good. I can't make that.
I mean, but you also got to remember. Well, I think this is next episode.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
but like at this moment, like his daughter is deathly ill. They
Oh,
have
that's what I'm
no
saying.
food.
He has a good
They have no
reason,
drink.
but
Yeah.
Yeah,
but some of the other people who went, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Also, I was wondering, like, was Ulf lying this whole time about being Targaryen? Like
I
this
thought
whole
he
time,
was.
I
I
was like,
thought this
oh, he
whole
capping
time.
big time.
But at the same time,
no,
it
he
wasn't because
is.
he kind of had the hair.
I thought
Like
it was
his
Yeah,
hair
fake.
was just enough.
Like I thought it was just maybe like he wasn't even related to him. It just happened.
I'm trying to think.
They
Is
definitely
Ulf?
they played it up for him to be like, "Hey, this is just how I get free drinks.
Right.
Like this
That's
is how I
exactly what I
get
thought it
stuff."
was.
So the entire time, again, jumping forward to the next episode, I was like, "Nah, they're gonna get this guy. Like there ain't no way."
Yeah, I knew. I mean, I had book knowledge as well, but I knew this night that they chose kind of as the first trial. I knew he wasn't gonna make it.
It could have
I
been
knew
that
he was.
easy.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna die because they kind of talk about his history and whatnot. But yeah, that was tough. He died, and a person who in the temple who takes care of dragons died. Like
Dragon
just
Oh
Tamer,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah, second hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got a
I was
secondhand
like,
murder.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
Well,
Like,
technically, it was death by suicide,
Oh yeah, because he was on fire and he just cut his
which
neck.
lets
I
you know like
mean,
how bad Dragonfire actually is.
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
these
yeah.
dragon tamers, are like I'd rather go out my own way than just sit here and burn.
I bet you that's part of their protocol, low key. They like keep that thing on you just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
Oh,
you get burnt, you can go out.
also, one of the most pointless plot lines happened in this episode, and it's the point where Rhaenys kisses uh the other girl. I can't think of her name.
Oh, Melisandre?
That was such a pointless thing. I thought they were gonna follow up on that, and like nothing happened.
I think we
Maybe
get a
next
little
season.
more of it. Yeah.
You think next
Yeah,
season?
yeah, I can see next
Well,
season being.
also Jordan, I don't know if you know this, but that was ad libbed
Yep.
by
No.
I can't think of what her name is. The actual is it Emma Darcy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So they were just supposed to like have that moment where she's telling her life story and they hug, and she was like, maybe they kiss.
Oh
Maybe
no,
in
I
that
didn't.
in
I
that
did not know
moment they
that.
kind of kiss, and it's just funny because Emma Darcy is I don't know exactly what her title is, so I'm not gonna throw it out there, but kind of goes
Like a
all the
Roy.
ways.
Roy's a smart
yeah.
man because let that been me, Brandon
Yeah.
Spencer, we got canceled right away because we would have
Your
said
ass just got
something.
canceled. Yeah,
Well, you would have been like, oh, she is insert this, or they are
yeah,
insert
exactly.
this. But they're like, maybe they do a little kiss action. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I see what you're doing
I
there.
thought they were going to follow up on that storyline though. Like I thought something else was going to happen. So I guess I'll have to wait till next season to see if anything pays off from that.
yeah.
Pays
I can
off.
see it being later on.
Yeah, man.
Something going on.
I almost went there, but we're
See,
good.
this is wild, man.
It did. I mean, it did kind of make sense when you think of like season one, to where I mean, she did what she wanted. She acted on her
No, yeah,
emotions
facts.
however she wanted, and like she spent this whole time being faithful and loyal to Damon. Damon's out here playing, make believe in Harrenhal
Yeah,
again, still,
right.
and so she's all by herself, and I mean, is queen. But nobody's listening to her. Nobody's respecting her. Her own sons aren't even listening to her. It's like so she has no power, no control, really. And for like someone to be like, "Hey, I am 100% with you. I'm riding for you. I'm here for whatever you need." Kind of makes sense for her to be like, "Ooh, that a spark? What's going on? Like, are you flirting with me?"
Yeah,
Right.
bro.
And it just fits in with her character. Like that, I wasn't surprised watching it, and then because I was surprised hearing that it was just added on last second. That was
Well,
a
I
surprise
just
for
thought they
me.
were gonna like follow up and something else was gonna happen. But like I said, I guess I have to wait till next season to see like if a real love interest comes there. Also, bro, she needs to slap Jace. Like she she just needs to slap Jace because he was getting mad disrespectful with his mom.
Yeah, but she's a white mother.
Yeah, that's my other thing. I was like, you know what? It's like, whatever, mom. Like I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I
let
get it.
that been.
Oh, let
What
that be
was
Corliss
what
and
was what was Damon's wife's name before?
oh
Ba-
What
dang.
wasn't Bayla? What was her name?
It was
the one who
damn.
could ask her dragon to cook her. Either way,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Vagar's.
yeah,
Yeah, let it been
yeah,
her. She'd have been. Man, you shut your mouth.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's funny though. But yeah, Rhaenyra sent some food to the folk, which is smart political move. Game favor with the small folk.
Brilliant move.
Um,
At first,
yeah,
too, I was just like, man, they're sending one ship. Like that guy's gonna hoard all of it.
I thought the
right.
same
And
thing.
then they pan out, and we just got all the ships.
Yeah,
And I was surprised then, um, at how many people didn't realize like how close Dragonstone actually is.
yeah. That man, I've been seeing more people be like, man, how the heck he get from? How does Allison or how does Rhaenyra get to King's Landing that fast? And blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, it's not far.
It's
Like,
yeah,
Oh,
like you
well,
look at
hang
a
on.
map, it is very close.
Now, I will say, I have looked at the map. I will say, though, and this is jumping ahead for sure, but when Bayla is like out searching for a dragon, she see the burn marks on the ground. I was like, wait, how do you know which way to go just when you're seeing one burn mark? Okay, so she ends up finding the dragon at the end, and I'm like, wait, so how's she gonna know which way to go? Because I'm like, if you put me out in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the woods, I ain't gonna know which way to go.
Oh no, that's another. We'll get to that. That's
Yeah,
another
but I was like,
chat.
that's
But
later. One
yeah,
thing we didn't talk about though is uh what's his name pulled up on his brother when he was in the bed. Aegon and
oh
Aemon.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
He's like, "What do you remember?"
yeah. He's got the,
yeah.
the the marble too, and he's like pushing it into his burned skin.
Bro,
Oh,
that was
And
bro.
serial
man,
killer stuff, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, that's when you kind of knew. All right. I mean, you knew his life was in danger just from like political stuff, but for him to actually like let him know, like, hey, I'm here if you mess up
Yeah.
or say anything crazy. All right. Episode 7. Uh Rhaenyra pulls up on Adam, who has now claimed Sea Smoke to see, who he's loyal to, who's this person that claimed the dragon that we don't know of. Oscar Tully puts Damon in his place, and they agree, and the Riverlands gives their army to Damon. Rhaena goes on a journey to find Sheep Stealer. That's the name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sheep Stealer. Yeah.
Yeah, Sheep Stealer. Okay. Allison goes on a mental vacation. Takes a little pool vibe. You know what I mean? Get away. Takes a little swim. Jace gets jealous of a plan that he came up with, and he's jealous that these people.
That's what I'm telling you. You should have.
Yeah,
You should have slapped him.
yeah, that made no sense. But he's basically jealous that these, half-borns, these people without full Targaryen blood, which he doesn't have, are riding dragons, common folk as he called them. Vermithor has a cookout with these people that they've offered up to him,
All you
and
can say.
Yeah, for real.
but Hugh tames him like a real one of the best taming of a dragon I've seen, at least. Then Ulf gets a dragon. It was kind of lame, but we'll talk about that. And then Aemon pulls up with Vhagar. Ulf gets the dragon, kind of rides around King's Landing, showing it off as Ulf would do, of course. He kind of has to show off. He's one of those people. And then Aemon's like, oh, okay, I'm about to kill him. So then he chases them, and then he gets close to Dragonstone, and Rhaenyra got the hood behind her. You know what I mean?
How did she see that? How did he see that?
What do you mean? You can see that far.
He was kind of high in the sky.
That's a perfect way to see. There's 3
Ah,
dragons down there.
I don't know. I feel
And
like
3
he was.
big dragons.
He also has
like
one eye, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like he had a lot going against him. He got one eye. He way in the sky.
All right, Jordan.
I see the one. Okay, the one he saw flying around. I was like, okay, cool. I can see how you can see that one because you're in the sky. That one's in the sky. But then the other two, I'm like, how did he see them?
I mean, Vermithor is massive, and
yeah, I was
it's
gonna say
bronze.
the other 2 are,
Braun is going to stand out on green grass. And
right.
then I imagine, Sea Smoke's also huge, and Sea Smoke's like this silver color. It's going to stand out well as well. And Cyrax is
4 dragons?
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Cyrax is on there, and then you see Silverwing like flying up on, like landing on the castle kind of. It's like there's 4 dragons, all of really good size, and then just Raggedy Wing.
I don't know.
Don't do that, man.
I'm looking at it again,
man.
bro. He is way up there.
Don't do that thing you always do. Why can he see 85 yards, but he can't see?
Bro,
like,
I'm just saying, bro. He got one eye and he way up there. Just go back and look at it. He way up there.
okay, maybe so.
Good vantage point.
Yeah. But yeah. And that is episode 7.
Did you mention Damon is also still in Harrenhal?
Oh yeah, Damon is still in here. Oh no, I mentioned that Oscar Tully puts him in his place.
Yeah,
in Harrenhal still. But Jordan, what'd you think about this one?
That ending. That was that ending, and then also the shot where she's in a dragon pit and like the dragon pulls up behind her.
Oh yeah,
those were two perfect shots.
Yeah,
like
they were.
If that is like a poster for the season, like though that's what I need to see.
I think that's the second best shot in Game of Thrones. The first one to me is still, season 8 when Daenerys is like, she just laid burn to King's Landing, and like you got Drogon like spreading his wings out and flying off, so it looks like she's the devil.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I know.
That is the best scene. This is the second best scene because I mean, just the detail of Vermithor. Yep. And like he's kind of shining in the little low light fire they have going on, and he just rises up perfectly, and she just has that stoic walk back. Yeah. And the tension of like what's about to happen, also like everything culminated together is just so good right there.
Yeah. Took a little bit of time for him to get up there. Took a little bit of time. That's what we're waiting on. But when he showed up,
Yeah, massive. And I think Brandon, you and I were talking about this. It's crazy. Like whenever she summons Sea Smoke, like she has to do the whole call, the whole sing, and like he comes up kind of reluctantly, and he's just like, "All right, what do you want from me?" And he is basically begging for a rider at this point, and
Yeah,
he's hard to get. But then Vermithor, she literally just says, "Hey, Vermithor, come here," and like does
yeah,
call him like a dog, and he just shows up,
right.
and she pets him, she like connects with him,
Yep.
and I'm like, okay, so she's either just like extremely overpowered with the blood, or like Vermithor is really not that bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, he kind of scopes around, and he kind of briefly looks over at
Did you?
at Hugh, and you get kind of a feel like, okay, this might be kind of pretty quick. I was surprised because I was like, oh, they're literally just gonna he's just gonna jump on him. It's gonna be game over.
Yeah.
And then he looks back. He said, "Nah, this ain't it," and just
Yeah. I got all these people here. Why might as well have a
yeah.
meal first?
Them boys like some
Which
damn chicken
we
nuggets.
kind of skipped over too. At this point, the the dragon keepers are like they're
Oh
quitting.
yeah, they
They're like,
quit,
nah,
bro.
like this is sacrilegious. Like we can't do this, and they all
Right.
walk out on her.
Yep. That's
Again,
true.
they were speaking of High Valyrian. They don't want to say all that in front of the people.
I don't know if
Yeah.
they know anything other than High Valyrian, for being honest,
Yeah.
because that's what the dragons speak, and so like they have to talk to the dragons, and I mean they're from. I believe the books mention like they're essentially like not necessarily a cult, but like an ancient cult of. I mean, this is what they do. Like they just work with dragons. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they know anything other than High Valyrian.
Mm, okay.
But yeah. No, they was pissed. They were pissed. But ended up working out. I mean, they lost a lot of people, but overall, for the goal of the war, I mean, it worked out. I really liked Oscar Tully. I liked how he like went at Damon because Damon could kind of like intimidate a lot of people just because he's just who he is. And
Yeah.
Oscar Tully's like, nah, my grandpa's dead now. I'm the guy in charge. You tried to punk me last time. We're not doing that this time.
Well,
You know?
that was another thing too. Is like whenever they first had an interaction, like this was a completely different kid.
Yeah,
And I don't know if it's because he just, he had no power. He's just next in line. But he was kind of just like, oh, yeah, my grandpa's in charge. I'm just kind of waiting it out. And now he's like
yeah,
calling shots, doing stuff, talking to the king crazy.
yeah.
Now I can't remember who was the Tully in Game of Thrones. Was it the friend of John's?
Samuel Tully, yeah,
Someone
Okay,
told
that's
me.
okay. That's what I thought. Yeah.
the
Yep.
baker. Or no, he was a maester.
Yeah, he was a maester. Yep.
Gotcha.
Uh,
But then didn't his dad have a sword? Well, I guess this technically would have been his great grandfather. Maybe one more great.
yeah, it
Because
might
like
be.
because remember that the sword he had in his family home.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
was trying
I
to see
remember that.
I was trying to see was this sword or whose
Oh,
sword
I
that
gotcha.
was.
think so, yeah, because I mean, he was kind of banished to the wall from his dad because he wouldn't fight. He wasn't a fighter.
Yeah,
Right.
So like they kind of didn't want anything to do with him. And then whenever Daenerys burned him, I think the sword went to him.
yeah, yeah. I like when they do that though. I like when they pull stuff like you start thinking, all right, who other Tullys were there? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with like Greyjoys and all that stuff. Um,
Which
and
I think this is the episode we got our first mention of the
yeah,
Greyjoys, which I was wondering too, because Game of Thrones, there's no mention of Driftmark.
at
We
all.
get a few talks about the Stepstones, but the Iron Islands and the Greyjoys are heavily talked about.
Yep,
And so in
yep,
here, I'm like, do they just not exist yet? Like, what's
yeah,
going on? So for them to finally, because they're massive, like
yeah,
they're known for being like unobtainable.
yeah,
And so, for them to finally be brought up, I was like, okay, here we go. We're finally getting into some of the families and some of the houses
yeah.
that we
I think
see that we know of.
is this the episode where it might be the episode before. It might have been 5 where Jace talks to the phrase and like talks to them about opening up what I mean, helping they're basically pledging their allegiance to Rhaenyra and opening up
I think that might have been last episode. Yeah.
yeah, it might have been
Yeah,
5. But
yeah.
that was one time where I was like, ooh, Jace might be good politically. Um but yeah, this yeah, you're right. Like that ending was that like gave me chills just to see all those dragons together. That was fire. Um, but now to
Yeah,
the
classic,
finale.
classic penultimate Game of Thrones.
Yeah, facts. Fact. Yeah, that's true because they usually go really
They go,
intense.
they
Oh
go
wait,
Yeah.
hard on the
one
last
one
one.
last thing before we get to the last episode. When Ulf like steps on that dragon egg, bro, I thought that
Hmm.
was it. I thought that was it for him.
Yeah. Well, so I
Yeah.
think he just stepped on the protective sack. I don't know if he actually stepped on the egg.
Oh, I thought he stepped on the egg. I was like,
I
that's it for him.
because I feel like if he would have stepped on the egg, because I'm pretty sure that's Silverwing's clutch. I think she would
Mm,
have roasted him right then and there because she kind of checks it out too.
yeah, that's
So I
true.
feel like she's like, okay, they're fine. I'm still gonna kill this guy, but then he kind of like accepts his fate. He's like, all right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
die, just take it, and then that's for her enough to be like, all right, I'll let you ride me. I'll bend the neck.
Yeah.
Bend the neck. But okay.
Pause. All right. All right. Episode 8. I wrote trash here, but I didn't really that was before I got into it. All right.
Rubbish.
We start out in Essos, where Thailand has an interesting visit with the Triarchy, and through some different means is able to cut a deal to get their services, even though they're, I mean, pirates and kind of hard to trust. Um, and their leader, I didn't know how to pronounce her name, Shirake Lokor, I think is the name, but she, mud fight with her and or them, and then made it work. Uh, Aemon destroys because he's pissed that Rhaenyra is now kind of have the dragon advantage. I mean, just lays waste to Sharp Point and kills a bunch of innocent people. Then he comes back and tries to force Helena to use her dragon to then kind of add to the warfare for the dragon fight. She kind of refuses because she doesn't want to kill anybody. I've read overall though that like Helena loves her dragon and loves riding her dragon. So for her to kind of reject that was kind of big. Um, then we have Laris convinces Aegon to leave King's Landing and basically just telling him like you're in danger, like either rather from Rhaenyra or from Aemon, like you're in danger, so you probably should get out of here. Corlys, still mourning from his wife's death. He renames the ship from the Sea Snake to the Queen that never was. Um, Damon is awoken by Alice Rivers, and they visit the God's Wood, touches the tree, and man, uh, that's kind of the big moment from this episode. He sees Brendan Rivers, who's a three-eyed raven from the future, and he sees a bunch of different things. He sees the White Walkers. He sees dragon eggs and Daenerys. He also sees dragons who are killed. Some people think that's from the Dragon Pit. Some people think that's from Valeria. I'm more voting for the Dragon Pit just because it
Yeah, I think
seems like
so
it's some
too.
yeah in the
Yeah.
future. But yeah, that's it. That's a huge part. We can kind of talk about that, and then finally we have Rhaenyra and Alicent have a conversation. Alicent visits Dragonstone. They have a real key conversation again. This time, Rhaenyra kind of has the upper hand, and sounds like Alicent kind of wants it to end, and they come to an agreement that you know Alicent will kind of set it up to where Rhaenyra can come into King's Landing and get position. However, she's sacrificing her son's head. So yeah, that is the season finale.
Man, talk about a disappointment.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna I'm gonna throw it out here because I talked to Brandon about this already.
yeah,
Depending on season 3, this will either be one of the worst seasons, or it'll be a very, very, I don't want to say one of the best seasons, but a very, very good season. It kind of sucks that it was an entire season of mostly setup and mostly plot. Um, so it's really going to depend on how great they do season 3. If they kind of fumble season 3, this will be a horrible look. It'll be a big stain on their kind of their record. They gotta come out swinging season 3. Otherwise, this is going to be bad
Yeah, I mean,
because
by the
this
end of
should
it, yeah.
not have ended the way it should have. I felt like going to the very beginning with the whole Thailand and the whole triarchy, I felt like that would have been really good had it have not been in such a lull of an episode.
Hmm.
The whole episode was just too long to have nothing happen in it. If it would have been a season ending or season finale and it would have been like a little bit less than an hour or right at an hour, cool, okay, let's do all these little gallivanting stuff that we don't really need and there's really not a massive benefit for. Like we could have just had them go over there, say, hey, we want to do this. All right, well, here's our price, and then move
Yeah,
on. Then either they show up or not. But to have all this kind of extra shit in there and then just have just a flop
Yeah.
was
yeah,
kind of the biggest issue because like you let us sit there for 70 minutes, and I don't want to go and kind of join everyone in on Twitter saying like we watched a 70-minute trailer for season three. I feel like
right.
there was some good stuff. Like it could have been shorter and would have been fine. We could have they should have switched the episodes and had it end with, hey, here's the dragons, and Vagar pulls up and turns. Or what
Yeah,
they could have done is instead of just giving us 38 seconds of Vagar laying to waste whatever town that was, give us more of that, and that would have been fine. Like,
yeah,
let us see him burn it down. But with what they gave us, and for how long it was, and for how the season as a whole kind of went, it was. I mean, it's kind of a stain, but again, if season three is good, it's going to be a lot better. So it's really contingent on that.
I can see that. I think I was talking to David as I was watching this episode. I was like, okay, we got 25 minutes left, so I know it's about to go down now. We get down to like, I think it was like 20 minutes left. I was like, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah,
15 minutes left. The episode ends. I'm like, I look up the little timer. I'm like, yo, we got 15 minutes left. What they doing? So like,
yeah,
I kind of skip past everything. I'm like, bro, I know they did not just end this episode like that. I was
yeah,
like, I know that not just you literally gave me all the stuff with Damon in the tree, so you got me in. I'm like,
yeah.
what's about to happen? And then you pull it out. I'm like, bro, like what? Like
great
what?
montage.
What a
Horrible place
tease!
for it.
Oh, yeah. I that would have been a great montage. In episode 7, going into episode 8, I would have been like, oh, let's go. You know, but no, I agree with you guys. Like, it was a poor. To me, it was naive. To like, you're dealing with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is heavy, sensitive. It isn't like Star Wars level, but like people hate on Game of Thrones for one season being bad. You know what I mean? So you got to understand that, like, hey, what we're dealing with here, we can't pump fake. We can't do basically, yeah, a trailer into another season for a full episode. You just can't have that. There's just too much details, too much stuff to go on. Like you said with the Thailand stuff, I love that stuff. But to me, that should be episode 5, 4, 6. Like, that shouldn't be in your finale. Like, everything in your finale should be like, every scene should be a banger, basically, and it should mean something. Where Essos, who knows what that means later on down the line. Like, we haven't seen Essos yet, so we're just now learning all that stuff.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I just, again, and with the God's wood and the tree and everything, that got me. That was, like you said, like,
Yeah,
that was amazing stuff. That broke a lot of like book barriers. That was amazing. But then to not finish it with any sort of like momentum, it was like, okay, yeah, we get it. All these other houses are loading up for the war, but we already knew that already.
yeah,
So I just, yeah, it was just frustrating that they didn't understand the type of timing they need to be. And honestly, they've confirmed now a season 4. So what is season 3 going to be? You know what I mean? Like, now I'm concerned that like season 3 might be similar, or we're gonna have probably a few more battles, but we only had 2 battles in this season, really.
yeah.
So it's like,
I'm
I don't know.
hoping season three is going to be just all war, and then four is kind of the after effects, and then making it into
Yeah,
peace again is kind of what I'm hopeful for. But at this point, like I don't know what to expect. I will say, um, Ryan Condal and Sapochnik, if you're listening to this, we got to stop with the 8 episode seasons. We need
oh
10.
yeah,
We
yeah, for
can't.
real.
yeah,
There's too much to tell. There's too much to get through in 8 episodes. We
facts.
need to like because if this would have been extended to 10, they could have told so much and it would have been so much better.
That's true.
But
Yeah,
That's true.
they want to put out an 8, and I get it. I mean, I'm pretty sure like each episode costs like multi millions of dollars, but I promise you they're getting all that money and then some back. So like
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
got to know
facts.
we're not getting the story well enough in
This
eight
is
episodes.
so like 10 is perfect for Game of Thrones, which
Yes.
I
Yeah.
for me when Marvel, I'm like, you guys need to do 13 episodes. Like you guys need to give me a couple more episodes. 10 is not enough for me for the Marvel stuff. I need 13. For this, 10 would have been perfect.
Yeah. No, I agree. They like you said, they fast forward through a lot of stuff that was in the books that had way more detail in the
Yeah.
books. They fast forwarded right through it. So it's like some stuff kind of slowed down. Like we talked with the Brackens and the Blackwoods. Like we didn't even see that battle. We
Bro,
Yeah.
just
they
saw that.
literally saw them arguing. Next thing you
Yeah.
know, we saw bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why
Both of
couldn't
them
we
did.
see that one? Yeah. Like that would have supplanted like, ooh, okay, this is an intense rivalry, and we actually got some action. That would have helped you out a little bit.
That could have been a whole 20, 25-minute scene.
Yeah. It would have been fire. People would have loved it. It would have reminded people of like Battle of the Bastards, all that stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Also Cole, man. This was the episode where I really felt bad for him. Like
same.
he know this is over with. Like there's no coming back from anything now. Like
Right.
these dragons are just it is what it is. Like he basically told the brother, like, yeah, I'm sleeping with the queen, like I'm sleeping with your sister, like, but that none of this is even gonna matter. They have
Yep.
dragons.
I did
Yeah.
have a question on that. Was him sniffing her favor the tell that he's been banging her? Because like,
Yeah,
how else did he know?
because like how else would you get that?
Yeah, true. That is true.
And
I,
it's
I
like
just wonder
sniffing panties, you know.
Yeah, like
why he didn't pull up on him earlier. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I don't think he knew. Like I think it's
Uh,
one of the things where he kind of suspected it, but like seeing that he had the queen's handkerchief, basically. It
yeah.
yeah.
oh, you only got that, you got real close to her.
And he
Something
was smelling it in a way that, yeah, you're right.
And it
like
was just kind of odd that like he was there ready to kill him, and then just him saying, "Oh, she's become a beacon." He's like, "Oh, okay, you love her. I'm not going to kill you anymore." Like, welcome,
Yeah.
brother. I'll
well, because I
Yeah.
think
say,
at this point they know
hey,
they're not making it out of it. It's like
Yeah.
it don't matter if I love her. It's not gonna matter. We're not making it out of this.
Yeah. I also want to mention my favorite character, Otto Hightower, is somewhere in a prison somewhere.
Bro,
locked up. They won't let
I
him
forgot who I was
out.
talking to. Oh, it might have been when we did the last episode. Oh no, I might have talked to David. But I was telling David, I think I was like, bro, we're gonna see Otto like episode 8 or 9. Bro, we see him for 2 seconds locked up somewhere. I'm like, bro, what? Like, everybody loved Otto. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What is Otto at? Like, what is
Man got fired and
captured? Looking worse than he did
kept
before.
right, looking like looking struggling. And he did, and I forgot to mention, but Eamon did summon him back to King's Landing. So we'll see what happens with
Multiple
that.
times because
But
they say like any word from Otto yet, and they're like nothing. So they had to
yeah,
have rang him multiple times.
right. Hit him on his beaver. Um, okay. I have a couple questions for the season for you guys, and then we can get out of here. Jordan, did you have any?
No, I didn't have any question. I will say that
Okay.
it was kind of nice to see Damon finally connect back with Rhaenyra, bend the
Well,
Yeah,
knee.
he's still in Harrenhal though. He
yeah,
Yeah,
ended what episode did he get there? Episode two,
2, 3.
two or
yeah.
three,
Two or three.
and episode 8, he's still there.
Yeah, but he does pledge himself to Rainier.
Yeah,
That's who he also sees. I forgot to mention that
in a
in his
pump
vision. He
fake.
does
Yeah,
see her.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
well,
sees
because
her.
he also saw like the stuff in the trees. Like, there's no point to me doing anything. Like,
Exactly. None of
this
this
is
truly
yeah.
matters.
yes,
Yeah,
Well, because I think too, like what he doesn't realize is this literally gives him everything he wants. Like he will be king and gets all the positive of it, but Rhaenyra will be the actual queen who is being held responsible for everything. So he can kind of do whatever the heck he wants. Like
right.
this is what you wanted. You don't want
Yeah,
the weight of the crown. Give that to Rhaenyra and you sit in the back and just do what you want.
do what you want.
Oh,
Yep.
one more thing I was proud of. Corliss' son, wasn't it Aaron? No.
Oh yeah,
He
Alan.
stood
Alan,
up to him.
yeah, hey,
Alan stood up to him.
that man stood on business on
Yeah,
that
he
one.
did.
He said,
Yeah,
"I don't want your damn help."
He's like,
right.
bro, I was hungry. We want to meet. You was out here just lollygagging right on through here. I just got to look at you all the time, and you saw us hungry.
He said, "We were
Yep.
cold and we watched your sons walk in fur." And I was like, "Damn,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what. And now you need me because they
that
dead.
yeah."
that might be up for like dialogue of the season. Like low key, like he was cooking.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, thank. I'm gonna do my job, but do not come to me on some father son type stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
because I mean everything he tells him, like everything Corliss tells him to do, he's like, is that a suggestion or is that an order?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
at the couple episodes before, like you kind of just get like, oh, he's just hesitant. Like
Hmm.
you don't get any suspicion that he low key kind of hates Corliss. He's
Right.
kind of it seems like he's kind of eager to get to know him, eager to finally meet him. There's no kind of feeling that like, oh, maybe they fully know. Like I think they know, but we find out now like how knowledgeable they are. Like, hey, Corliss is your father,
Yeah, they knew from early from the jump.
and it's kind
Yeah.
of crazy that like Alan was kind of completely against any help at all and doesn't want anything to do with them. And you have Adam, who's
He's like, yeah, I need it.
all it took was well done, and he's like, yes, I got my dad's approval.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Big brother, little brother type stuff.
Yeah.
Which is really realistic. Okay. So who was y'all's favorite character of season 2? I feel like I remember I asked Jordan this, he went with the Damon. I think he mentioned, but
Yeah.
Was Damon even in this season?
exactly.
I enjoyed all the stuff I saw with Damon. If looking at the season as a whole now, honestly, I might go Rhaenyra.
Mm,
Like I think she is trying her best with what she has right now, and honestly, looks like she's on top right now. So
yeah, see
Hmm.
that. Roy, what about you?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, the thing too, there wasn't a whole lot of like great qualities in this season for like one individual person.
No, that's
Like,
true.
I mean, you did see kind of Rhaenyra like come back from the horror of like losing her son to being like, all right, I still got to lead, I still got to do this stuff. We got to
Yeah,
see Rhaenys. I mean, just be that bitch,
yeah,
and like that was awesome. But like she was only in it for 3 episodes because even before she kind of gave herself up, like she's the only one standing up for Rhaenyra when she's not with the council. And
yeah,
she's just straight up like, hey, I think you guys are forgetting like who Rhaenyra is. Like, yeah, she's a woman, but she is queen. Like, you can't
yeah.
talk to her this way.
Right.
Um, it was Jace at first, and then just kind of as the season went on, like just got worse.
Yeah,
Honestly, I'm gonna throw Bayla out there. I think she was probably my favorite character because she had that whole arc of, all right, I'm gonna need you to go watch my kids and go
yeah,
to this whole other continent to then being like, no, I'm gonna set my own path. I'm gonna go out to the literal wilderness and follow these burn marks
which
like
is
they're
crazy to even know which
hieroglyphs.
direction. Yeah,
Yeah,
to even know which direction to go to follow a dragon.
but I mean,
but
maybe she had that calling. She's like, hey,
I loved it.
that
I
blood.
love that
Yeah,
they showed her struggling. Like,
that I like that as a struggle. Like they didn't just show her like looking
yeah,
around every so often. Oh, look, another burn mark. Oh, look, another burn mark. We saw her like almost dead with that wind.
yeah, like chugging down water, hiding behind a rock so the wind don't hit her.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I like that. My favorite this season, like you said, I will say, if I had to have a critique for the season, they took away all the interesting characters. Like they
yeah.
benched the interesting characters for some reason or another. Which, okay, cool, whatever with the book, but a lot of the reason these people are interesting isn't necessarily due to book content. It's due to like how the actor was doing it. So
Yeah,
like you take away Otto, you take away Damon, basically. You know what I mean? Like this show
They kind
isn't
of took
have a
away Cole too.
yeah, you took away. So it's like this show doesn't have that many interesting characters. If you're really thinking about it, like Team Black, we really don't know these people like that. Team Green, we know them, but they're all bad people for the most part. So that was kind of my critique. Is like it's kind of hard to have a favorite character, but I'd probably go with Corliss just because I like to see his arc or see like him start off as I'm doing this all for my legacy and all about my heir, and now he's like coming to realization like, okay, I really made some bad decisions. And bro, you should have told Rhaenys. Rhaenys would have rolled with him. You know what I mean?
yeah. She was like, I bet your mom was beautiful. Like,
Yeah. Like Rhaenys is
Yeah,
not the type to be like, she I don't want she wouldn't stand for it, but she would say, you made a mistake. We still
Yeah,
need
you
to.
need to go take care of that boy. You need to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Um, okay.
Be
Who's your
a hell
favorite?
of a lot better than Catelyn Stark with Jon Snow.
Yeah, for real.
Bro, that makes Catelyn look crazy. Honestly, I love Catelyn, but Catelyn was talking crazy to the child. All right. Favorite character arc. So maybe not your favorite character, but
Kristen
your favorite
Cole.
character arc.
I hate Kristen Cole.
Same.
And we got to a point where it's like I mean, I don't know a single person who doesn't kind of feel bad for him in some sense. I
Yeah.
still think he's, a drama queen kind of little prissy girl, but like to see him go from like, no, we're gonna kill them, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, to being like, I mean, what are we gonna survive this? Is there anything to live forward to after this? Like this is the dance of the dragons. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And
No, I agree.
his little monologue he gave to Gwen. Or
Yeah.
Gwen, is it Gwen? Is that his name or Gwen?
I think it's Gwaine.
I think it's
Gwen Hunt. Yeah.
where he gives him that whole like, I mean, Shakespearean little soliloquy. Basically, it's just like, what's the point of living if like dragons are just gonna burn everything down? Like, what are we doing out here fighting? What are
Yeah.
we used for?
Yeah.
Yep. I would say to me, Damon, his arc, because we saw
Okay.
him kind of be like an asshole,
Yeah.
and now since he's been in Harrenhal, like he's really seen the error of his ways and the
Yeah.
way he's just treated people around him.
hmm
And I think that was a really good character arc for him.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Cole would probably be mine, but Damon's right there.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, they're really the only two that had somewhat of an arc.
Full
Like
arcs. Yeah.
everyone else kind of
Renere's.
stayed stagnant.
Yeah. Kind of the same.
I guess maybe you can throw in Alicent too, because
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
sure.
she comes in and she's like I'm done.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
second meeting is way different from how the
Little
first
too
meeting
late.
was.
Yeah, a little too
Yeah.
late for all that, but
She was a little too cocky in the first one. All right. What position in this universe would you want to take? So you have the Hand, a Nice Guard, or Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Which one would you take?
Knowing that we know everything now about the Night's Watch, like we know that the Ice King is coming and all that, or are we talking about like before we even know all this?
are
I mean,
we
you know,
House of Dragon or are we Game of Thrones?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see. Where we at?
House.
What we
Well,
talking?
just to keep
Okay, House of
consistent with
Dragon.
House of Dragon.
Uh, I would probably go Night's Guard because I mean, how often are people like really trying to attack the king? And it's like 70 y'all as well.
I will say, Jordan, you understand what is involved with the Night Guard, correct?
Oh wait, I forgot. You gotta get that up, huh?
Yeah.
My bad.
Well, unless you become friends with Aegon or
Yeah,
Aegon.
like the king likes
If
you, sure, but
you're Aegon's boy, he's taking you to the brothels.
yeah, but for the most part, let's say you're under
Yeah,
Viserys, he's not.
yeah. I mean,
But also
all
same thing for Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Like you can bear no children.
It's
Now I
true.
don't know if that just means you can't claim any children. Like I don't know if they can
Oh
they
yeah, yeah,
can't
I'm cool. Like
but
I have a bunch of children, bro. That ain't my kid. He look just like you. That's a
I
coincidence.
don't think you can. Can you have sex
I don't.
as
That's what I'm saying.
Loki?
I don't
But it said bear
remember.
no children though.
But nobody goes out and does anything. Granted, it's just a bunch of dudes.
Right. Yeah, I
But
don't
don't they
think
go?
because
Don't they go to that town though? Wasn't that town real close to them?
yeah, but they don't. They went there because they had to stop there and they needed that dude's help. But even Samuel talking to that girl was not allowed, really.
Yeah, I probably still go with the Night's Guard though.
But if your hand, like you're getting fired every other episode.
Yeah, for real.
I'm going Hand. I'm going with the Hand. I'm gonna have political power. I can still do what I want. You know what I mean? I'm not. Yeah, there's a
Um,
standard, but
Yeah, I'm probably going hand as well because it's probably going to be the easiest life. Like it's just a lot of mentally taxing work.
yeah, and
And
you can
too many
retire.
too many meetings, bro. Too many meetings.
I'm used to that.
yeah, we work.
Yeah, exactly. We
I
got a
got
Zoom meeting in the
I
morning with the king. You know what I mean?
bro,
You
I
get that
gotta
marble suite too. Like, oh yeah, give me that
Yeah,
marble.
bro.
I might
I'm
go
gonna put my
Night's
little
Guard.
rings on with my little nice
Yeah,
fresh fit every
little
day for a
family
meeting.
crest.
Yeah, man, come on, dog. And like you said, if you're the Hand, you know you're a lord of basically back where you're from. You can always go home and get treated well for there too. Yeah, I'm going to Hand, bro.
Out of those, yeah,
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
you
there's no
have
way I'm
yeah
choosing a wall though. I'm letting you know
no.
right now. That's too
Oh
many
yeah,
dudes.
I
I'm
won't
good.
even like go visit the wall
I wouldn't either.
on a holiday.
I'm
No.
like, it's cold. It's cold up there. I'm good.
yeah. I agree. I agree. Um. All right. Oh, last question. As far as the hand, it's the last one. So we know how we do start, bench, cut. All right, last one. Start, bench, cut. As far as hands are concerned, the position of the hand.
Okay.
Otto Hightower, Tywin Lannister, and Tyrion Lannister. Start, bench, cut. What are we doing?
I definitely say for me, I would start Otto, bench Tyrion. N- No, no, no. I will bench Tylen and cut Tyrion. Tyrion got a drinking problem.
Ooh,
He got a drinking problem. I feel like that ain't always the best thing to have around you.
ew, controversial. Okay, Roy.
Man, I think I'm cutting Otto.
Okay,
I'm benching Tyrion. And I'm starting Tywin. I think Tywin and Otto are extremely similar in their like logical political ways that like you can kind of
yeah,
take either or. Um, and they're going. I mean, they both have great results,
yeah,
and they're not gonna like sugarcoat anything they say to you.
yeah.
So I feel like one of them has to get cut because I don't know if you can cut Tyrion just because of
I
the
think
position he puts you in. Like
His
I
resume
mean
is too crazy.
he lit the thing too is like you get Otto and you get Tywin, like they're not really going to listen to what you have to say, regardless of how passionate you are. Like they're only going to go by what they said. In the end, they're going to be like, "Hey, but your call, you're king, your call." Where
Yeah,
Tyrion is going to maybe adjust his way to make it kind of match with you, and I think that's kind of needed in that
Tyrion gonna
position.
be drinking too much. I ain't got time for that, bro. You always drunk. I
That's
can't
why
even have.
he's on the bench.
Oh yeah, you said Benjamin. Okay.
I just need him to come in, fourth quarter, get some minutes, get a couple
I don't,
rebounds.
I don't know. I don't know about rebounds, but
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild,
that's
Roy.
crazy. Uh, I this is tough for me because my favorite Game of Thrones character is Tywin Lannister. I've always loved him the most.
He's great.
But Tyrion, man, Tyrion got a resume that's crazy.
He do.
He's got
You know what I mean?
He got a lot of
multiple
flaws
kings and
though. He
queens.
got a lot of flaws.
I
He
mean, a
can't
lot of
control his
flaws.
height.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I wasn't even talking about the height thing, but there is that.
my thing is Tyrion. Yeah, he had a drinking problem, but I mean, who doesn't in this time, right?
Nah, but he different.
And he kind of got control of it for the most part. Um,
Yeah, he got his
I'm
heart broken and he killed his dad on the shitter, and
yeah.
he never really drank that much again.
Matter of fact, you're right. That, yeah, cut Tyrion. He killed Tywin over a girl, which is wild.
On the privy.
A hoe.
Yeah, a mistress. Like, what are we doing? Um, so yeah, I'm
Mm,
gonna start Tywin, bench Otto, cutting Tyrion. That was wild. You kill your father. It's wild.
mm.
Wild
I mean,
behavior.
he wasn't a great father. You gotta be honest.
I mean, he wasn't, but he allowed. I mean, he told you he was honest. He said, "I allowed you to live because you're a Lannister." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he
That's
sent.
not okay.
I mean, I
I
let you
mean,
live
no,
underneath
but
my household. He could have killed him. I mean,
he could have exactly. And he
He only
sent him
said
to
that
King's
because he was
Landing.
at a disadvantage. He
He
didn't give a
sent
shit
him to
about him.
if Tywin doesn't send Tyrion to King's Landing, Tyrion never becomes the Hand. Tyrion never gets all his resume is based off of what Tywin allowed him to do. Now he did take his position when he got back, but hey, you know what I mean?
stuff
It
happens.
happens.
Yeah, I'm like,
Stuff
stuff
happens.
happens. All right. So I do have one question before we got here. We have to rate it, scale of 1 to 10. What do you give season two? We'll start with you, Roy.
I feel like I can't give it a true rating because again, it is completely um depending on how season three goes. So if season three is great, I think season two is like an 8.5.
Okay,
If
you gotta
season
get
three is
you gotta give it to
bad,
it. You gotta give it to us what you got now with this season two knowledge.
right now I'm giving it like a 5.5, maybe a 6.
Damn. Okay.
I'll go 6 because there were some great episodes in there. The last episode just kind of it sucks that the last episode was so rough because it kind of ruins everything else that was great about it. That my initial thought right now is like, all right, that was like a 6 contingent on season 3, which again could be like 8.5.
Okay. Brandon, what about you?
I'm gonna go 7.5. I thought the season did have some great moments. Thought the opener was good. Thought the blood and cheese part was good. You know, I thought there was some really good character arcs, and we saw one of the best. I mean, episode 4 might potentially be top 5 Game of Thrones episodes. You know what I mean, just in general.
Without a
So
doubt.
I'll give you that, and top 10 Game of Thrones universe moments as far as the Rhaenyra with the dragons. So I'll go 7.5. It probably deserves maybe potentially lower based on that finale, but I'll go 7.5.
I think as soon as I finished watching it, like I was like, I'm comfortable with a 7. Like it wasn't great. It
Yeah.
wasn't bad. It's just like for me, it's like middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think they have a lot of stuff that they need to improve on season 3, and hopefully it gets it to us. We want more action, and hopefully season 3 kind of gives us that along with a really good story.
Yep.
So,
I think I'll bump mine up to 6.5.
okay,
I think just
6.5.
I forgot about the whole blood and cheese and the whole like the first couple episodes. And like it's again, it has to be better for it to
Yeah.
get a better rating. Because I'm fine with a lot of setup if it has something to set up. If this
Right.
is a setup season and it doesn't set up anything initially, that's a tough one.
Great.
So, um, I would love to definitely hear what other people think. So if you want to tell us what you thought, be sure and join our Facebook group. Hit us up on Instagram, leave comments on YouTube. Let us know what you think about season 2 as a whole. Are you looking forward to season 3? Who are some of your favorite characters, favorite moments? We definitely want to hear it. And
Yes,
Roy,
sir.
thank you for joining us once again. It's always a
Thank you
Yes,
pleasure
for
sir.
talking
having
with
me.
you.
Thank you.
So,
We're tapped in at all times. We'll have Roy on more often as well. You can check out Roy. He'll be on wrestling podcast, a couple others as well.
so with that being said, we're never duplicated
Always appreciate it.
and forever melanated.